yet another Just 5 Mins. Okay, so what have we got today? We have Webstudio, can you believe? And a Webstudio is, if you've not seen anything like Webflow or Duda or Squarespace, these are those sort of like block sort of editors that someone without really any HTML experience can start to build their own web pages. WordPress has had like the block editor in there for a while and all sorts of things, but they're all sort of like you've got really sort of platform lock-in. Okay, so Webflow, brilliant tool. You can do a lot of drag drop, really build up a web app in no time. Yes, they're all AI sort of stuff built into a lot of these things now, saying build me a page that looks like anyway. But either way, those visual editors really are very good, and there's nothing wrong with Webflow and Duda and lots of others, Wix and Squarespace, etc. But they are locked into those platforms. You have to pay for them every month to host the website. Not necessarily a problem, but what Webstudio have done is it looks a lot like Webflow, I have to say. But let's face it, everybody copies everything. And I mean, what are you going to do? It's just the way it is. But they've done a really good thing, I think, is that they've got that visual development process, but open sourced it. Okay, so I think it's an MIT open source license, but as ever, check that for yourself, of course, before you start doing anything. But ultimately, it comes. There's a few things that come with it. I won't go into all the details, but the main thing is the visual editor, and it's very good. It's drag and drop components building up a block on your page. You've got all the CSS sort of stuff that you can do. But interestingly, what Webflow doesn't seem to do is when you can't easily go and change the CSS after you've created a component. It sounds silly, but what Webstudio have done is introduce the fact that you've got tokens, which is a surprisingly simple way of doing it. Is you've got a token, which is just a name or whatever you want to call it, that can have not just really a CSS class, it can be a set of classes for CSS, but the point being is that you can then inject those tokens into any of those components that you've got in your web app, which means, of course, is that you want to go tweak that CSS, you're putting it in one place to start with, and you can easily change it. It's native sort of CSS if you want to go to that level, but you don't have to mess around replacing something or whatever. You can just tweak a token for the CSS, and wherever that token's being used, it's going to apply the CSS. So things like that. And the visual editor it is all in beta at the moment, by the way, but already it's got a fairly decent full-featured editor. Okay, but then comes to the next sort of superpower, if you like, is it's open source. There's no platform lock-in. Now they do have hosting. Okay, so they've got a really good pricing model, I think. You can have them host the website, a bit like Webflow and whatnot. So you've got a hobby one for $0. So if you pay them $0, sorry, bit of a joke, bad joke. But you can have, it's non-commercial sites generally, but you can have up to 5 custom domains, 10,000 page views a month, 2 gig of asset storage, unlimited sites, unlimited pages, community support and all the rest of it, and off you go. And where they deploy it is basically, I think they've ended up using, and I'll just double check this, pretty sure it's good old Cloudflare workers, basically, where they've got the serverless code. So a bit like your Amazon AWS Lambda and Azure serverless. This is Cloudflare workers, where you can deploy serverless code, etc. So they're using Cloudflare, which is already at the edge, as they say. So you've got near zero latency, which I think is another clever little move there as well. So, of course, you can take this away. You can totally host not only the editor yourself. You can build that into your own applications, but the platform behind it that runs the web app, if you like, that you can run in a Docker container yourself. You can run it locally. You can stick it in your own sort of hosted environment, or indeed you could literally go to Cloudflare and sign up and do that yourself. But they are offering another pricing model, which I think is roughly about $20 a month for a pro version, but you get like 500,000 views a month, 20 gig asset storage, unlimited custom domains and whatnot. So if you don't want the faff and fanfare of hosting this yourself, then you could do that as well for a relatively cheap amount. But again, the key thing is this is open source. You can change this, you can edit it, you can incorporate the editor in your own app and host it where the heck you like. So that's what I've got for this time around. With I should start calling this just 6 minutes, really, but there we go. We've run over a little bit, but until the next time, take care, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.